Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Movie Rubric. I'm Timothy McDaniel.
Cole Wright.
Jonah Jobai.
And we literally just got back from the theater, and we went and saw It Ends With Us. And we were so close to being the only three in the theater.
So close. Two older ladies.
Had to ruin it for us.
Sit in the far back corner.
Yeah, I whispered that to Cole at one point. Yeah, so we definitely whispered a lot during this movie, which was good. If I had to sit completely silent for this movie, I would not have enjoyed it as much as I did. But I looked at Cole and I said, you have the entire theater to choose seats from. Why do you choose the back right corner?
Yeah, it was a little odd choice. Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah.
Some people are like, like the back row Baptist of the movie theaters. I get it, but like I'd at least pick the back middle.
Yeah,
I think.
middle at least. Something's happening to my voice. I need to drink another thing of water.
Okay.
Old man on here.
How's that?
Dying.
What did you get from Starbucks?
The throat destroyer or something like that.
Yeah.
The caramel voice cruncher.
Absolutely. Well, I did record our thoughts going into this movie, so I'm going to go ahead and play those here real quick and make sure this isn't going to blow us out of the water here. So let's go ahead and listen to those real fast. Okay, we're outside. We're in the lobby of the theater. It's 4:00 on a Monday. For It Ends With Us. When I purchased the tickets, we were the only ones in the theater, and I'm hoping we're the only ones in the theater. I'm not expecting to like this movie, if I'm being honest, but I hope to be pleasantly surprised because there are some chick flicks I do enjoy. I know that there's a sequel book, so I'm really expecting this movie to end on a cliffhanger, and if it does, I'm going to be really upset.
I have no expectations really for this movie. I don't even know what this movie is, so I think it's gonna. I don't want to say suck. I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm just gonna say that it may be a decent movie nonetheless, but I'm probably not gonna enjoy it.
How did you describe Borderlands? It was going to suck like 3 loads of butt or something?
Two packs of butt.
How many packs of butt is this movie going to suck?
One at most. No, not against like
One at most. That's valid.
I really don't have any expectations with this movie. I don't think I'll like it, but I don't necessarily think it'll be like bad. It just really isn't like my kind of movie, if that makes sense at all. But I really have no feelings going into this movie. I am an emotionless husk, so it has nowhere to go but up, or maybe down. Actually, you could go up or down. I don't think I'll like loathe it, but I don't think I'm gonna like it.
All right, there's your expectations. Let's go. There was. I was
barely
like,
hear it.
You said it right as I was about to drop. Can we do Harold with the Purple Crown? I heard you say it behind me right as I was about to hit the button. I was hoping it made it in. It did. I'd say out of the 3 predictions, that being the third one we've done, that's our most accurate.
That's most accurate.
We also went like with the safest, like we're indifferent kind of thing.
Yeah.
We went with the safe route on
That's
this one.
valid. That's very
We
valid.
were very safe on that. There was nothing. We were most like lukewarm take you could have done.
I feel like with this movie, what you see is what you get, kind of.
Yeah.
You know? It was what I expected.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
For those who have not watched the video part of the podcast, which Jonah, thank you. Jonah's been doing a great job. He's filming on his phone. And if you're someone who just has to have a video component, we are filming these and putting these on YouTube. So thank you, Jonah, for taking the time to do that. I know that takes a little bit of time.
No problem, baby.
If you have,
Sorry.
if you, no, you're good. You're good. Save it for when we're
afterwards.
done, yeah. If you haven't tuned in, we are 3 guys. And if you haven't listened to any other episode on this podcast, we're 3 guys who typically don't watch this kind of movie. We've had a few wild cards in our time. We have. I had a few friends recommend that we should try something different, and then my sister the other day. So Morgan, if you watch, you better watch this because we watched this for you. Morgan was like, "You guys should do something different. You guys should go see like a chick flick, like It Ends With Us." And then we had a slow week. Here we are. So. You know what? I think it'll be a decent episode, though. So, spoiler-free discussion here, real quick. Just kind of talking about the movie in general. It's a chick flick, but I have to say the characters were a lot more developed than I was expecting for a chick flick.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Do you guys have any chick flicks that you like?
I enjoy Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay. It's weird that that's the one.
I mean, that's some good humor.
How old is that? I haven't even heard of that movie before. 2004?
How's he know?
I don't even know if that's actually true.
Got the Alabama database.
I'm going to Google Sweet Home Alabama here. But yeah, no. So, Jonas, is there any... I hate to use the term chick flick because I feel like that's like...
Broad. Or not
it's
specific.
too broad, and it's also ever so slightly like...
Subjective.
I was going to say like sexist. Like,
Okay,
like
okay.
oh, it's a movie about feelings? That's for chicks.
It's 50 First Dates.
Like-
That's a rom-com.
Yeah, like I've heard people call like Princess Bride like a chick flick.
Oh.
Because it's you know, so that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like some people use it in a derogatory manner. So like are there any movies primarily aimed at female audiences that you've enjoyed?
We talked about it in the car, but I like 10 Things I Hate About You.
That's a good one.
That's a nice feel good fun teen movie. Like that's the thing too. Like is that a teen movie or is that a chick flick? But I don't know. I think it exists somewhere in between. But I like that movie a lot. That's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So I've been on record to say before that I do enjoy The Notebook. It's like I don't know why I enjoy The Notebook, but for some reason that's like the chick flick that always comes to my mind whenever I think about those. So I would say character development. These characters were more developed than that of The Notebook, but I think I liked the characters. I'll just be honest here. Spoiler free still. I don't think I liked any of the characters.
I like this. I like the sister in the movie.
You know what? Alyssa. I did like Alyssa.
There was a couple characters I liked, and she was one of them.
She was one of them?
Yeah.
I like the leads. I don't think I like the leads.
And it's not that I didn't like him. Okay, I didn't like. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. There's a character I obviously didn't like, but like I feel indifferent to a lot of the characters.
We're talking about trailers. This is one of the weird movies I did watch a trailer for, and I don't know where or how. Yeah, and like there's a twist that you didn't see coming, and I saw coming from a mile away, and I don't know if it's because I saw the trailer or if I knew what the book series was about.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, so really. You know what? I'm not even going to say it because we're not in spoilers yet. I'll hold that thought for when we talk about spoilers.
Yeah, same. Because I also
unless you guys have anything else to add, I was just going to say, let's say if we recommend it or not. I was going to say for a chick flick, it is a chick flick, like through and through at its core. I'd say it's a more adult themed one. Like this is not one that I feel like the girls are going to build a blanket for and put on and like watch. You know what I mean?
Do they do that?
I think so.
Dude, we have friends that like within the past year have built a blanket for it, and like I think they watched all the High School Musical movies.
I respect it.
Sounds horrendous.
Your sister was one of them. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure.
I'm sure
it
wrong.
was.
I thought it was that friend
If
group.
High School Musical was involved, I'm sure it was.
This is not the movie that the girls are getting together on like their Friday night for fun to watch. Like, I mean, not to say they won't watch it, but it won't be for fun. Like
some of these guys are dreamboats.
It's just, maybe
they will.
Some good looking people in this movie in general. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen Blake Lively in something in a hot second. Like most of the movie, I was like, that's at least worth it a little bit.
Yeah, you know,
like. Okay. So I'm gonna give it 1 thumbs up. I'm gonna say if you are into chick flicks, it's good. It's got some good looking people, as Jonah said, guys and girls. The gallery's there, and the writing was better for character development than I expected. Okay. You guys?
I would go a thumb up, but like wait for streaming.
Like a half thumb.
Yeah, half
Yeah.
thumb.
Okay.
Yeah, like you should watch it, but like I wouldn't spend money on.
Even if you're a girl who likes chick flicks,
I mean, I guess, but like I'm thinking, like if you're in a relationship and she drags you to it, I guess do it. But yeah, and obviously as a guy, you don't know.
Free relationship advice. You ready? Free relationship advice. If you're in a relationship, just go to whatever movie they say. Just do it. Just go.
That's
but
good
then
advice.
they have to go see like Deadpool Wolverine with you.
Yeah, it's like a trading thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So all right, Jonah.
I'm gonna say if you are into this kind of movie, if you like, chick flicks, so to speak, or just movies like this, if you like Coleen Hoover books.
What else is she? You keep talking. I don't even know what else Coleen Hoover's written.
I don't either. I've heard the name before though.
Yeah, I know she writes books.
Yeah, she writes books, some kind
know.
of books. She writes these kinds of books. If you're into that thing, I'm gonna say thumbs up. You really can't go wrong with this. This is kind of like exactly what you think it's gonna be. So yeah, I'd say go for it. If you're not into this thing, I'm gonna say thumbs down. It's not a bad movie, but this is a movie if you're not into this kind of thing, then you're probably not going to enjoy it very much. And that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie, but I wouldn't say go see it. So
there is, she's written, it ends with us, it starts with us, Verity, Ugly Love, and then Reminders of Him. Now,
I don't know any of those except for obviously it ends with us.
Ugly Love and Reminders of Him have similar cover art to that of It Ends With Us. Are they related? I'm just going to what is the book Reminders of Him about? Love, grief, forgiveness. No, okay, it's unrelated. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and dive, unless you guys have anything else, into the spoiler section of things. Cole, go ahead and say your spoilery thought regarding characters that you were trying to avoid mentioning earlier.
Yeah, so obviously we said, was it Alyssa, that was her name?
Yes.
But the funny one is that we were saying...
Yeah. Let me go and review. Can you remember your thought?
Yeah.
Let me review all their things, because I skipped over the facts. Because with this movie, like we said, we weren't super interested in this movie, so I didn't hype myself up. I didn't do a bunch of research like I did for Alien. So it was directed, funnily enough, by Justin Baldoni, who also plays Ryle, the abusive lover. In the film.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Think about this. Just indulge me here for a bit.
Okay, I'm indulging.
We have an actor who is directing the movie. Mm-hmm. We have a flower shop involved. And we have a guy who says he did not hit her.
No, wait a minute.
He's doing it.
It all works together with the room. It's in the universe.
Ooh,
this is just a reskin.
It's an alternate take. This is the Wicked of the room.
Wouldn't that make you like this movie more?
I mean, I should, but it was the original did it best. I'm gonna.
That's true.
I'm surprised that doesn't make you like the movie more than it does.
I kind of put that together on the way home.
Yeah, that's really funny.
So I'm like, hey, listen.
Was that your thing with the characters you're going to say?
No.
Okay. Go ahead. You go ahead, and I'll say this afterwards. Go ahead.
Atlas was my other character I actually did enjoy in the second half.
I came to like Atlas a little bit.
Yeah. He grew on me at the end, towards the second half of the movie.
Yeah, post-twist, I liked Atlas.
Yeah. So just to speed run the character names, because I tend to forget character names, we have Justin Baldoni, the director, as Ryle Kincaid.
Tommy Wiseau.
Yes. Blake Lively as Lily Bloom. Jenny Slate as Alyssa. Hassan Minhaj. I'm super sorry to all the people of that country. I'm not even going to guess.
That country. Oh my god.
I'm going to guess.
Wow,
I'm going to guess Indian, but I also But that's the thing. That's the thing. So I'm sorry if I have upset you.
We're getting canceled.
He's playing Marshall. I'm probably going to get canceled for something different later. Brandon Sklenar. That sounds like a stupid made-up name, Sklenar. As Atlas Corrigan.
Brandon Sklenar.
Kevin McKidd as Andrew Bloom. Is that the dad?
Yeah.
That's the dad. Okay. And
That's
then
the big bundle of joy that is the dad.
and then the only other people I feel
Wholesome
like are
man.
probably worth mentioning is Isabella Ferrer as young Lily, and then Alex Newstater as young Atlas.
Random little note: whoever casted this movie, that young, she looked exactly like a young Blake Lively.
She did.
That was
Yeah.
a
I
good
thought
casting.
they just de-aged her.
It was
that's
a
what- exactly.
really, you're right, solid casting choice.
At first, I was like, "Is that her?" But I was like, "It's not her." That's like a really good pick.
Coming off of this movie makes me think of Borderlands for two ways. One, we talked about it on the car ride home. Alien was like I love the way you phrased it. You said Alien was like drinking a glass of milk to like clean your palate, but like we need to brush our teeth. Like we still haven't brushed our teeth. Alien was, yes, it was a good palate cleanser, but I can still taste Borderlands in my mouth. Coming off the casting for Borderlands, the casting for Borderlands was atrocious. I feel like they nailed, I haven't read the book, but I feel like every actor in this did a really good job to fit their role.
Yes.
And you're right. Whoever was casting for this movie for the young people killed it.
Yes.
It was really well done. So pro to that on the movie. Well, with that, let's kind of just go ahead and dive into favorite character. Is Alyssa everyone's favorite character?
She's up there. Yeah, I would say consistently throughout the movie, it's her.
I think she's easily mine.
I mean,
She's my
towards
character.
the end, Atlas was making a case, but the whole movie, it was Alyssa.
Yeah, she had good vibes.
Here's
she
my
was fun.
problem with Atlas. Like,
Cool name.
this is a cool name.
Very cool name.
He could have, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being overly harsh. Like, I feel like as a character, Atlas could have reached out to her. Like at some point, like post military, like he could have done a little bit of like trying to text her, or call her, write her.
Maybe numbers got changed.
Maybe he was still scared of the dad. I don't know. I'll give him a break there.
So he has. That's kind of traumatic there.
Where I had a hard time liking Atlas was the first time we're introduced to adult Atlas. He immediately jumps a guy that at the time we realized, there's later a twist, we find out he was being abusive, but at the time we as the audience are not supposed to realize he's being abusive. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, the girl is telling him it was an accident. And now you could argue he doesn't believe her. Very valid.
Yeah.
Totally respect that.
In the gene pool there.
Whether you believe her or not, you shouldn't slam a customer and the boyfriend of one of your customers up against a wall over what is ultimately a misunderstanding.
Well, Ryle did is this the homeless guy you lost your virginity to?
Oh, that is fair. That is fair.
That's he probably, if Ryle would have kept his mouth shut, I ain't gonna lie, man had it coming.
Yeah,
but
that's valid.
You don't say crap like that.
Yeah, and I think for me, I don't say it was justified, but I think
your restaurant, do what you want.
Yeah, but I think since he said his parent, he got kicked out of his house because someone was beating his mom. I think I get why his character would do that.
Totally.
He has been scarred by that, like with his parents and knowing about Lily's parents. And
I totally get why.
There's a Marshall and a Lily in this movie.
Oh my gosh, there was.
How I Met Your Mother's also involved in this.
I totally get why he has a piece of him that's kind of broken, and that causes him to lash out in anger. By that logic, we find out later that Ryler has a little piece of him that's broken and causes him to lash out in anger. So that's a really slippery slope to start justifying violence. And I want to say this, obviously this movie it deals with domestic abuse. It also deals with generational trauma. Domestic abuse is never okay. And that's what I was going to say. We're going to talk about domestic abuse on here. And I was worried that some things we could say would get us canceled. I want to say domestic abuse is never okay. I would say violence is never okay. I wish that they would have shown Atlas, who's supposed to be the hero of this movie, in a more calm-headed and cool light than the first time we meet him. He's just fists up.
We could quote, there was a wise quote from Matt Barnes, former NBA player.
Okay.
Violence is never the answer, but sometimes it is.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I guess I would agree with you, and totally
just a total meme quote there.
I get it though. It's
valid.
I don't feel like
validity to it.
In the restaurant, that scene, and it's just the way it's presented.
Yeah.
Well,
and especially to us as the audience, this is really important to us as the audience. We don't realize that Ryler is actually being abusive.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the movie wants you to not like Atlas in that moment, which is really weird.
I will admit
it does, because it's like you think he's being paranoid. He's not doing anything wrong. Like Ryle's not doing anything wrong at the time, from what the movie wants us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but then you spend half the movie not liking Blake Lively's character because you think she's being kind of, at least for me, before they showed that he was really being abusive. And once again, I saw the trailers. I knew that twist was coming, but watching it blind, the movie doesn't want you to know Ryle. You want to call him Ryler.
Kyle with an R.
Yeah. Just once again, hate that name. Doesn't want you to realize Ryle's being abusive. So then what that sets up is this precedent that Lily is somewhat emotionally cheating on Ryle with Atlas, which is not cool.
It's like when she keeps the number. I'm like, why are you keeping Atlas's number if he's not actually hitting you?
If you think it was truly.
After the twist, I like this movie more. Because before, I was kind of like, these guys, like, what is going on here?
Just from a director's standpoint, I don't know why you would set up your audience to not like a character. I wish maybe I would have liked it more from the get-go. Who can say if they had shown that the abuse was real from the start?
I mean, I'm different. I liked having the what is actual reality here? Who is quote unquote the crazy one here? Of is he really being abusive? Is he not? Is Atlas overstepping boundaries?
You liked not knowing?
I liked not knowing. I liked being kind of having to piece it together as it goes on.
I guess, and I also think back to the staircase scene. Later, we find out he pushes her down the stairs. Mm-hmm. Despicable, awful.
Yeah.
In the moment, from the audience's point of view, because we don't know he's actually being abusive
we're
yet.
seeing it from Lily's perspective.
From Lily's perspective, we see a man who is upset that his wife, right? Because they're married by that point.
They're married.
Yeah.
Wife has another man's number, and he wants some alone space, and she is chasing him and grabbing him, going out the door. Once again, not knowing what we know later, it makes you want to not like Lily, and I just don't know why they made two very weird decisions to make you not like the main character.
Maybe she's trying to, one of those situations where you're trying to write it, but not realizing, hey, that person needs space for a bit. Let him calm down because he has she knows he has a temper. Yeah,
and finding out the twist later even more so exacerbates the fact that she should have left him alone.
Yeah,
I'm not saying sorry, that makes it sound like I was she was asking for it by chasing him out the door. That's not what I mean by
why
that.
would she do that?
But why would you? I took a course recently.
She at that point, she was in the wrong because she kept the number. Not saying justify it by shoving someone down the stairs, but
before you know what you know.
Yeah, before we know what we know, like she was in. He probably thinks, oh, she's cheating on me. She's hiding this number from me. She didn't throw it away.
I just thought of this also. If you want your friend, because at this point, I think that Atlas was genuinely acting on behalf as a friend, giving her your number. Hey, I hope you never need this. Hope you never need to call me. But if you ever do, I'm here. I think that was a good move. Why didn't he just
put it in her phone?
Put it in her phone, and she could put a fake name in there or something.
Yeah, very odd.
That was weird.
And why wouldn't she take it out or hide it somewhere?
Yeah,
or take it out and then put it in the phone and then shred it or do whatever you're gonna do. Or
take a picture of it. I don't know. I feel like there's a million things you could do.
Maybe she's paranoid, or I don't know. I guess she doesn't have a reason to be paranoid, really, because she doesn't really know.
So, I don't know. Does she
know?
Having memory problems, or is she or did the movie just not want us to know? I've also wondered that, and
I'm convinced that it's seeing things from her perspective, how she's recalling these events happening.
So she doesn't realize she's being abused at the beginning.
And then when it finally clicks, hey, he's trying to bite this flipping tattoo off my neck bone.
Yeah,
I like that more than the thought that she knew she was being abused, chose to ignore it, and then the movie waited to tell us.
Because it could be if you're a victim.
Ooh, hold on. I want to give the movie a bit of credit. She does say at the beginning she's an unreliable narrator.
Oh, that's true.
That was actually a good bit of foreshadowing for that twist. Sorry, please finish your thought. I just
being an abuser, being a victim, she probably is in denial that it's happening. People will say, "Oh, you're being abused." No, I'm sure you whether it be physical, verbal, anything like that. You've probably seen someone like that where they're in denial that they're being abused, or they don't want to face the reality of that, because it's you have all the negativity that comes with that, but it's if you leave, what do you got? Is what they kind of think. It's this or I have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe I was kind of building on what you said. I think maybe maybe I said, maybe I'm giving the movie too much credit here, but maybe the decision why they didn't show that she was being abused until later, maybe it was kind of to replicate the feeling of oh, I trusted this person, I thought he was a great guy, and now I found he's not. Now you find out he's not. All of a sudden, it comes on so suddenly. Maybe it's trying to replicate that and realize. Like I said, maybe I'm giving them way too much credit.
Well, now that I'm remembering the line about her being an unreliable narrator,
makes it a little bit better.
I'm actually really it's weird. Okay, this is what's cool about movies. This is what's cool about movies is if I hadn't paid attention to catch that line, I'd still be mad that the director wanted us to almost frame Lily as a bad person. But now that I remember that line, I think it was a very intentional choice to kind of frame her as a bad person.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of it now. That's weird. I wish I'd remembered that line on the drive home when I was mulling this movie over.
Yeah.
Dialogue's cool.
Maybe this movie's going to get
on that note. On that note,
it is.
I was going to say note, this movie had some of the worst dialogue.
Had some decent dialogue, but a lot of it was a bit of stinker there.
It's
generic rom-com,
goofy, kind of quirky-ish, trying to be quirky dialogue.
Here's the guy I'm sleeping with.
Yeah, in the theater, story time. In the theater, there's a scene where we don't know he's the abuser yet, but Ryle is going with our main girl to meet her mom in this restaurant, and they walk up the first time they're meeting, and then Ryle says, no, not Ryle, Lily says, hey mom, this is the guy I'm sleeping with, trying to be quirky or something like that, and I literally I groaned in the theater, because why would you tell your mom that ever? I don't care how old you are. And then I went, ugh, and then Tyler went, dude, are you all right? And I was like, I'm fine. That was just insane.
I think I missed the line. I don't know if I was
you heard it, right?
Eating a
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah.
I did something why would you say that?
Why would you say it to your mom? That's crazy.
There's a lot of weird dialogue choices in this movie. And there were some times that characters actually had what felt and sounded like real human conversations.
Yeah.
In a way,
all over the place.
There's one scene where they're in the car. He's picking her up from work and he's asking how the wedding went, and it's just a camera on the hood. And that conversation felt so natural.
Yeah.
They sometimes spoke over each other. They stopped. They got a little confused. It was such a natural, good, dare I say, Tarantino-esque, genuinely, way that scene was shot.
Oh.
One camera not moving, authentic dialogue.
Maybe
Yeah, it was good.
Tarantino had a hand in it.
And then we like get to dialogue.
Maybe he's like a hidden director.
Maybe he did. But then we have dialogue where she's like, half of the exposition for characters this movie was phrased in the form of a question. Like they ask a weird question that you'd never ask someone.
Yeah, they
Spit water all over yourself.
Is it my beard?
I don't know, just like drip down to your shirt.
like that example there. My favorite one of that was like it just randomly cuts to Atlas and Lily, and they go, "So, what song you want played at your funeral?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
one
good.
of the funnier.
It was
examples.
funny because it was just so out of nowhere. Like everyone liked to answer questions with another question in this movie.
I don't know if it's like that in the book, but like to me, you could do that once or twice. But when half of your exposition is because you're having characters ask those very specific questions because you're like, oh, I want the audience to know that this homeless guy is going to join the military. So then in the movie, it's like girl nervous eating popcorn, watching Ellen sitting on the couch with what is essentially a homeless guy. So what do you want to do after high school? It's just like
it was so awkward. Yeah.
an awkward way to
you
phrase
gotta
that in.
I gotta make conversation somewhere.
I just feel like there's a million places you can start before, like, I don't know. And
It's
then
a good talking
there
piece.
was one really big one before that. It was when she was on the roof with Ryler. She asks him, and I wish I
Ryle.
could remember. Ryle, thank you. They're on the roof. She asks him such a stupid question, and I wish I could remember what it was, but I just remember laughing out loud at like the odd.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Yeah, choked on spit
All right.
there.
I feel like there's something in my tree.
Probably is.
It's that you looked at me and your eyes went wide. You went,
Cold eyes
Yeah.
on camera.
I thought you were actually joking.
So anyway, that first interaction with Ryle and Lily is kind of awkward. Like they obviously it's the first meeting, but like he just jumps right to like,
I want to have sex with you.
Yeah, that kind of made me roll my eyes.
like
a little
oh
bit.
okay, it is 50 Shades of Grey over here. Like what are we?
I need you.
I have
Being weird.
Here's gonna get me canceled. First off, you're right. That was really weird. Like,
I mean, he at least he's up front with what he's wanting.
you
there,
know
but-
what? And being
In a weird way.
being a playboy that we find out he later is, I'm okay with it. Like, yes, it's cringy, but he's supposed to be cringy. And parts of that scene felt very natural. Parts
Yeah,
of it did
Parts
not.
of it, yeah.
Parts of it felt very natural. Parts of it did not. But here's what I don't like. And like I said, this is maybe like, please don't get mad at me. But like, Lily's such a tease. Right? Like she's
mean,
like,
I see what
he's
you're
like,
saying.
I want to
Yeah.
have sex with you. And she's like, how many people does that work on? And then they say some things. They come back to the question, which is weird. And then she's like, well, I'm sorry to break your streak. That's not going to work on me. And then she goes,
I'll do,
but maybe,
some.
But
maybe.
You know?
And
Like,
then he's
I'll
like,
let you know how far I'll go.
is this okay? And she's like, maybe you can go a bit further. Like, I don't know. That just drives me mad. And then I made the joke to Cole multiple times throughout the movie. He makes approaches and she says no. He makes approaches. She says no. That's allowed. That's totally allowed. But here's where I started to not like Lily. Like it's the start of it. She's like, at least maybe she did want him to do something and she was playing hard to get. And in a movie that deals with like a rape scene later, I feel like that's a really dangerous thing to toy the line on.
Yeah.
So in my mind, if a girl says no, she means no. You can maybe like flirt a little bit more, try one more time. But if she says no, okay, done.
Yeah.
Man was throwing up bricks out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes to his house, not what she's kind of implied in the scene earlier that she like didn't want to be with him at the house.
Yeah, didn't want anything to do with them.
In like the most revealing outfit I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying that as a lady, if you dress a particular way, you're asking for something. I hope it doesn't come across that way. But like, I just feel like you could like be a little conscientious of what you're doing to the weird guy who is like, you maybe
Following
don't
you
want.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just gonna amp him up even more.
Yeah. I related it to the Padme scene from like episode 2, which maybe confirms for me like she did really want something from him, which once again, if she really wanted something from him, I kind of do the like, just say it. Don't do the tease hard to get thing because that gives men like Ryle really weird mixed signals, and especially if they're unhinged. But like in episode 2, Padme is like wearing the skimpiest, like bustiest dress in the world. She's like, Anakin, we can't be with each other. She takes off her shawl. She's like, it's against
forbidden.
the rules. Like pushes her chest up against
You're
him.
a Jedi.
Like that's the vibes I got from this movie.
See, for me, I'm in the splash zone right now with this glass of water.
I'm choking.
I'm getting wet.
You don't know how to drink.
Yeah, it's going crazy. I feel like those scenes just made me not like rile more because I felt like it was like almost like oh, if I keep bugging her, she'll eventually say
cave.
yes, even though she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And I just got bad vibes from him.
Yeah.
Which, I have spider sense for bad people, I
We're
guess.
introduced to him by him like assaulting a chair.
A chair, yeah.
Like, and
Stressful day at the office.
yeah.
And then, just him being like, please, I need you, please. like, please.
Why does he sound like Kylo Ren?
That's what I'm thinking. That was a
Kylo Ren
Ren
mixed with,
impression.
like if
Given to
Seth
your anger.
Green
He did kind of look like a really tan
I
Kylo
sound
Ren.
like Chris.
Chris.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. Pina. No, that's Lois.
That's Lois. I don't know the right character.
I try to do Chris, but I can't do Chris.
Did the wrong
Mag.
Griffin.
He was kind of like a really tan Adam Driver.
He kind of was.
He
Yeah.
also had the beak of Adrian Brody.
Yeah. Like I was worried at one point they were kissing. Is he gonna poke someone's eye?
Like if someone farted, he smelled in the other apartment.
No. Okay. So favorite character is Alyssa. Jeez, I'm assuming everyone's least favorite character is Ryle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Even
Okay.
before the twist, I didn't like Ryle.
I agree.
He's
Yes.
a scumbag.
He's a scumbag, and he's supposed to be. So in that regard,
He did his job.
I
the
mean, maybe
movie
he's a
he
good character.
fulfilled his role.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the thing later is like I said I didn't like that stuff about him, but then later I'm like, oh, maybe that I was supposed to feel that way about him.
Yeah.
Get red flags.
If only you were in this movie, Jonah.
I would have.
Here's I can
done-
actually say
I
if
don't know.
both of you were in this movie, here's what would have happened. You guys would have been like at the party. You would have saw Blake Lively looking fine, walking in her dress. You guys would have been like, and she would have waved at you and walked away, and you guys would have been like,
I would have been like, oh, I need to go home. I need to be
yeah,
charged.
that's all I can do for tonight.
I'm socially exhausted
That's-
from that.
That was too much. And I see the text from the boys. Hey, we're getting on Fortnite. Who's in?
Like, well, I gotta go,
yeah,
guys.
gotta go squad up.
See you later.
I think I would have at least said hi, be like, "Can I buy you a drink?" And I would have got shot down, and then went and played Fortnite. I would have at least
afterwards,
given like one little bit of conversation, but I wouldn't have made it much further.
See, and I would have done this. I would have like been walking by and be like
Jonah,
the
listen.
nervous look. Yeah.
Here's the thing,
I like
Jonah.
to think Joe. It's like the Key and Peele sketch where the guy is like, "Just what is wrong with you,
Jonah,
man?"
oh my gosh.
It's like when I put the glass back down, it like falls and goes.
Well, stop doing that.
I just
man.
imagine Jonah's gonna be like the Key and Peele sketch where he's just sweating, just like
It
it's
feels like that,
pouring in his
yeah.
face. Blake's gonna be at the bar. She's gonna be swirling her scotch. She's gonna look over, and Jonah's gonna be sitting in the corner shaking, just so much sweat running down his face.
Jonah has
come
like,
here often?
has like low key has like some insane riz. Like
You do, Jonah.
There's
Actually, you have to like.
like don't even try.
I don't
Yeah.
even try. And nothing happens. Yeah.
What? Oh, you single?
What?
Here it is, Jonah. Real talk on the podcast. Let's get. I'm just joking. So, all right.
It's an interrogation.
Did you guys have a favorite part?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I-
I normally ask favorite part, least favorite part. That's hard for me on this movie.
I mean, definitely the name drop for Creed.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty funny.
But I would say actually when the pieces are finally put together, kind of thing, that little montage. I thought it was it was handled well, like the realization of like, oh, these things were not as they seemed at first, that kind of thing, like the quote unquote mystery, the twist,
Yeah.
is finally coming together.
I think weirdly enough, my favorite part was when she told the sister. And I know that sounds really weird. I
can
love
see
that the
that.
sister was like, as his brother, I wish you could find a way to forgive him, but as your best friend, I'll never talk to you again if you take him back. She's a real one.
That's a
Yeah.
good line. That's
Yeah.
a good, well
like,
written line.
she's a real one.
Yeah, she's
and
looking
like,
out. She's looking out for family, but also realizes, hey, he's not
stable.
stable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no
It's-
one should go through that.
it's really important to note she believed her. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
she could have
like,
denied it. Like,
could have
oh,
denied
no,
it,
that,
made excuses, and like she did at one point kind of like with the thing you were saying, like she said why he's probably broken, but then said I'm not making excuses, what he's done is unacceptable.
Yeah.
That might have been my favorite scene because
oh, sorry, you finish.
I was just gonna say too often in and you've probably studied this a little bit being a teacher, I feel like too often in situations of domestic violence, especially when it comes with, I keep using the term generational trauma, we hear about students who, because Cole and I are teachers, students who will go through the same problems that you were so careful.
I was careful.
They'll kind of fall into the same bad patterns that like their siblings or their parents did, and a lot of times they're falling into the same bad patterns that their parents and siblings did.
Yeah.
And it gets passed down, and you don't realize it like until you take a step back.
It's treated like normality.
And that's where the term that's why the book is called It Ends With Us. It's not necessarily talking about domestic violence. It's talking about like that cycle. if we were to dive into it, I would say that someone would probably argue that maybe the mom's mom was in a domestic abuse thing. So that scene with the sister kind of being the one to help her break that cycle, maybe more so than Atlas even, because Atlas is just there as a supportive friend. Like,
yeah, just gives her a place to stay.
That's probably my favorite scene.
Yeah. I'd say mine, I really like the scene where she gives birth to her kid and then Ryle's there.
Yeah.
I really liked, I don't know, I liked, he's like, I want a divorce. And he's like, no. Like, please don't. And then she's like, what are you gonna tell her if like she gets abused? Like, what are you gonna tell her? Like, how would you feel? And then he's like, I would tell her to leave. And then he just kind of like accepts like, hey, I've done wrong.
Yeah.
I got to face consequences.
Yeah.
And then like, not that it just like it redeems him or anything, but I was like, wow, it's like a really like
you're
good character
you're
moment.
taking that control away from him then.
Yeah. You can see him like kind of like, I don't know.
Like, you're not in control of us now, dude. Like we're done.
Dude,
obviously be cordial because you have a kid.
Yeah.
That scene made me so happy because I was really worried this was going to be one of those movies where she
Takes him back. And he's like, oh, I changed.
And then in the second movie, we like have to do this again. Like, I was going to be mad. I would have been like done with her at that point. Like, if she had taken it back after going through what she did, what she had gone through. So that scene made me very happy. That was a good one.
Yeah, I like that one too. And I like the one, this isn't really a scene, but I like the line, like you said, with the mom when she's like, why'd you stay with him? He's like, it would have been harder it would have been harder to leave. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah,
that was a good line. Real. It was real.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't know. It could be like the worst relationship possible, but they rather it's a comfort thing, or they know what this is. Like, oh, I can put up with this. I don't know what happens if we break this off.
Yeah.
Like I said, for what it's worth, while I didn't love the movie, it deals well, I think, with many of these serious topics. Like, I never thought that the three of us would be sitting here on the movie rubric talking about
domestic
generational
violence,
trauma and domestic violence and having real good conversations about it. But yeah. So good for the movie. And honestly, I kind of forgot about it till now. I did see a lot of people talking about how they hope that this movie raises awareness for stuff like that. So the movie's doing its job.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. Good on the movie. Did you guys have a least favorite part?
Here's the thing. Everything was like, there's like a few like highlights, but like there's not really a whole lot of lowlights, I guess, in this movie because everything else is kind of mid.
Yeah.
Like it's tolerable for what this movie is. I would say actually, as a whole, like the low parts for me were everything prior to modern day Atlas being introduced.
Okay.
Because that when they introduced Atlas into the mix in the present,
It got...
that's when I'm like, okay,
It got interesting.
I got to see where this goes.
we have a movie.
Yeah, we
Yes,
have like,
yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we found our movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think I said on the way home, the first half of the movie, I really didn't care for that much.
Yeah.
Like at all.
I'm like, this is gonna be very mid.
Yeah, because like I thought that I heard about I knew there was something about domestic violence in there, but I thought maybe it was just gonna be about like her parents at that point. And so I was kind of like, I mean, not to say that I like that the domestic violence happens halfway through the movie, but I feel like the first half is just like this like kind of weird romance, not weird romance, but basic romance story between her and Ryle. And I was really checked out kind of. And then, like I said, when Atlas comes in, even at the beginning still, I'm still like, oh, this is kind of like just a love triangle movie. But then when it starts talking about more serious things, it was just more engaging, I think, even though it's not fun stuff to talk about. It was just more engaging, and it was more than like just a romance movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, my least favorite scene might be the scene where Atlas is first introduced. I agree with Cole. That is where the movie does start to get good.
Yeah.
Where we start to have some conflict, like some real conflict, because up to that point, it's just like a person opening a flower shop and everything's going right. Yeah. But in that scene, and I'm coming at this as someone who's been cheated on. Like, being cheated on sucks. I would never, ever, I'm married, I would never, ever cheat on my wife if I would never plan on this anyways, but if something ever was going to happen, I feel like I'd have to be honest with her, be like, hey, I'm having these conflicting feelings. Like, even though that will never happen, that would be where I'm at, just because I know that feeling sucks. So she sees Atlas. She then lies and says, I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then stands up and goes to talk with him. I'm not saying that's straight cheating, but like that's a little bit of emotional cheating. Like, it really is. And then from that moment on, she even admits, like, I'm kind of in love with him just a little bit, like later on in the movie. So that just made me uncomfortable, because at that point, Ryle has not hit her. He's been for the most part, a stand-up, trying to change gentleman to our knowledge.
He's been very, respectable at this point.
Yeah. So I saw, yes, I know that the abuse is coming later, but in that moment, we have a good guy.
He hasn't done anything.
And he's doing his best. He hasn't done anything. And then the girl, like I said, Lily doesn't cheat, but also, like, if, like, I was out at dinner and my wife's, like, first lover was at the restaurant and she lied to me and then went and
Talk to him in the back.
and then asked him if he was seeing anybody. Like,
Yeah,
that, I would be really
uncomfortable.
I mean,
upset.
if it was just like make small talk, hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a bit. That's one thing. But
But it was like, are you twisting her hair? Are you seeing anybody?
Seeing
Are you
anybody?
single?
Yeah.
Like, it was just weird. It just made me icky. Like,
Yeah. I can get that.
in a weird way.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
I agree, though, that is where the movie started to get interesting because of what made me icky is also the plot actually starting
it's like
to do
then you
some
start
stuff.
questioning who is in the right, who's in the wrong, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Totally
and also, Atlas looks like a very skinny Luka Doncic, and I'm kind
Who's
of
that?
Who?
basketball player.
Oh,
Look
okay.
him up.
Is Atlas skinny? Did I miss something? The dude wasn't fat. The dude was jacked.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
He was
he's like
slim jacked.
Skinnier. Here's the thing: Luka is not fat. He's like chunkier for like an NBA standard.
Okay. I feel like Atlas was very lean. I describe him as lean.
lean is better.
We watched
Skinnier.
Yeah, skinny, strong.
So funnily enough, I was shocked because I've seen 2 ads for this movie. One of them pretty heavily featured Atlas, and then the other one was, I showed it to them before we sat down. It was Ryan Reynolds interviewing the actor playing Atlas, and it was kind of like a Deadpool Wolverine ad, but on the set.
It was like a marketing crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really funny. Would never have expected it for this movie.
Oh,
Deadpool
yeah.
and Wolverines can break all bounds. But they were interviewing Atlas and not Ryle. Atlas has got like 20 minutes of screen time in this movie.
I'd say a little bit more than that.
Maybe a
Really?
little more. He
That actor, I mean, because you got to think it's not the same actor when he's younger.
That's true.
I'm not counting younger actor, like the adult that I saw in the trailers and in the interview and like in the marketing material. I
guess
like,
you're right. He's-
I feel like Atlas, like the adult Atlas, I genuinely think it was less than 20 minutes. He was barely in this movie.
Yeah, but
Not
he,
really.
he left a major impact though.
He
Yeah,
did.
He was important.
It kind of caught me off guard. Like
I would probably
expected
say
him to have
younger is in there more. Younger Alice is in there more.
yes,
Yeah.
by a wide margin,
Yeah.
absolutely. I don't know why. It's really immature. I think we all kind of chuckled at it, but I was just thinking of you mentioned Ryle at the bar says like, "Is this the homeless guy you wasted your virginity on?" Which first
him.
off,
Yeah.
is such like a sick line.
Yeah,
like
that's-
if you're wanting to trash talk, I'm not saying Ryle did a good thing, but like that's a mad trash talk line.
Yeah,
That is
that's
like,
a little cruel.
That is like prime 2009 Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of
Yeah.
trash talk.
But then later, as he's leaving the flower shop, and he turns around, and it's weird that the guy said it. Like, oh no, the girl said it. The girl said it. She's like, "Hey, and by the way, about my first time, it wasn't wasted." And he just turns and he looks at that and he goes, "No." Like,
Okay,
Dang, bro.
okay, Han Solo.
and I was just
Dang.
like, "That's such a stupid way to respond to that." And all
So
I could,
goofy.
it's just like I don't know. It was just so dumb. And
Solo.
I shouldn't have chuckled out loud, but I was just that line was just so dumb to me. Like, of course, for the guy, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, trust me, it wasn't wasted. I came."
Never lost.
There was some like dreamboat kind of lines in the movie that made me like kind of crack up. I mentioned in the car, but the when they're like, it's a flashback, they're in the garden planting stuff, and then he
Whoa,
goes like,
roots are cool.
well, yeah. And when she's like, so he's like, so why do you like plants so much? And then she's like, you just take care of them and they grow, and if they don't, they die. And it's like, sort of like us, I suppose. I'm like, you angsty boy, like shut up.
I
bro.
laughed out loud at that one too.
Yeah.
Angsty, hey, listen, I want to try some of these hot chocolate cookies though they make.
Oh
Those
my gosh,
sounded
yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Legit though, not gonna lie.
Give me
I
a
did
big
want-
glass of milk with that.
I did want
Yeah.
one of those cookies until I saw him like. I'm assuming he washed his hands.
Yeah, the
Let's
finger
think-
marks.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
homeless Steve from Blue Clues, just like putting his fingers
Steve,
in
yeah,
the
Homeless Steve.
That shirt he was
He was
wearing
wearing
looked
Steve.
like
looked
Steve.
just like
Oh.
Steve from Blue's Clues.
I got an infuriating thing here.
Okay, everyone pause.
Yeah, okay.
And by everyone, mean Jonah.
Yeah,
pause.
two of us.
Lily doesn't know who the heck Ned Flanders is. That shirt looked nothing like what Ned Flanders wears.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you make
Maybe they pulled
makes
that
you
from
look
the book.
kind of like Ned Flanders. Like, That's not even close to what he wears.
I'd say that line was probably in the book, and then whoever was like picking the wardrobe
They didn't know who Ned Flanders was either.
wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
He wears one outfit, one
It's like a green sweater, right?
green sweater.
Over like a button up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad clothes. He wore her dad clothes.
He's wearing a red striped polo.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked nothing like Ned
Not even
Flanders.
close.
Not what
So
I would have
funny.
guessed. Yeah.
I'm infuriated.
I do feel like adult Atlas had more hair than younger Atlas. Did anyone else get that?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
younger
yeah, he had the
Atlas's actor was
airbrush.
balding, and then like adult
He was
Atlas has
stressed out,
so much
homeless.
thick hair. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, other than that, I had a few other things I really liked. I'll say like I think this movie was shot really well most of the time. Cinematography wise in chick flicks is sometimes I'm trying to stop saying chick flicks, like romantic female driven movies like this. I feel like cinematography is kind of a wayside. There's some really good aerial shots. They did some cool things with the water and reflecting, and most of the scenes I thought the lighting and the shooting were really well done, with the exception of sometimes when things started getting intense, they went to like a freehand shaky cam that just kept getting closer and closer to their face. Did anyone else catch that?
I didn't catch that.
Multiple scenes where like every other shot would just be a little bit closer to the other actor's face, and they didn't have the camera on a tripod, so it was like a handheld shaky cam. And sometimes the dialogue matched that, but sometimes the dialogue was relatively calm, and it was just like all I could see was like the upper lip, the nose, and the eyes of Cole, and it's just like I don't know, it just was really funny to me.
I didn't catch that. But I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's in there. That is weird.
Yeah, and then I didn't care for the twist. I put the twist in quotes for me because it wasn't a twist.
Yeah. Stop watching trailers.
I know, right? I should.
This guy over here watching all the trailers.
Yeah, how dare you?
This is like one of the few trailers I've seen in a long time. I've seen this. I think I've seen the Beetlejuice trailer like a million times at this
Yeah,
point.
That's been in every movie we've
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah.
They've been really hyping that up.
And like
That and Smile 2 have had trailers
Yes.
every movie.
normally, if I don't care for a movie or if I don't think I'm going to go see a movie, I'll watch the trailer. And I think this was one of them. Like I wasn't planning on going to see this, so I was
Wicked.
like, I'll
I've seen
watch
that
the trailer.
quite often.
Yeah, Wicked's in a lot of movies, yeah.
The other thing I didn't like, I did not care for the soundtrack in this movie.
No.
I didn't really care for it a ton. I mean,
It's
The only time there was music was like when we were transitioning between scenes, and every single song was like either sad piano or sad strings, and someone going like, just over and over. And then I think
Yeah.
there was one Taylor Swift song in
at
there.
the very end, yeah. They played Skinny Love.
And then like they'd get done with their montage and their transition, and then it just the song would just cut out.
It's over. Yeah.
yeah,
oh.
not a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't care for it.
I mean, this one didn't have Ace of Spades, so I mean, I guess Borderlands has them there.
Is this bad that Borderlands might have had a bad... No, you know what? I'll say this. I think music, while I didn't like it, was used to better effect than this movie than it was in Borderlands.
Borderlands had one song.
One song.
Yeah. It was intentional with the
You
music.
know what? I remember the music. For what it's worth, I remember the music from this one. And aside from Ace of Spades, I don't remember music playing a single time in Borderlands.
Nope. It did, but we don't remember it because it sucked.
Yeah.
We're doing Borderlands Part 2 now.
Yeah, here it is. The
Yeah.
the
We're gonna be-
re-roast of Borderlands. Okay. I have nothing more really to add because I don't want to dunk on this movie. I don't think it was bad.
No.
I think we've spoken pretty highly of the
think it
movie,
was-
to be
it was
honest.
pretty good overall.
Higher than I thought we would.
Especially now, actually, in a weird way, the more we've talked about it, the more I've actually enjoyed the movie.
I respect the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
I didn't enjoy it, but I respect it.
Yeah. All right. Rarely does like talking about a movie's flaws cause me to realize that I enjoy it more. But yeah, like it was good. Okay. So let's dive into the rubric then. I always start off with plot. Jonah, why don't you start us off with plot this time? Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Does Cole need to go? Cole already has a score.
Yeah, Cole, you go. Cole, you go.
Cole, start us off with plot.
I'm actually going to go 4 on the plot. I really liked the plot. Like, obviously, when it's fine, but then once, current day Atlas joins the mix, it becomes a way better movie. And the story, like, I like the quote unquote mystery, what's real, what isn't kind of thing, even if that's not entirely, it's not a mystery movie, but it's like, you're kind of questioning what's the reality and what isn't. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked that kind of like trying to piece it together as the movie goes on.
Okay. That's solid. Jonah?
I'm going to give plot a 3. I'm being objective.
That's what the purpose of this podcast.
That's true. Yeah, that's
Welcome
true.
to the podcast.
Why
Yeah.
we're doing that's literally why we're using a rubric.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, 3, I'm going to say because I think, like we talked about before, Adult Atlas shows up. It feels like you said, it's a romance. Everything's going well. and you feel like you're not really going anywhere. There's not a ton of conflict, and I was pretty bored. Not bored. That sounds lame. But yeah, I was bored.
It was a very mid plot.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot going on. And then, but when it picks up, I think it's pretty fine. It's a serviceable. I was engaged with the drama.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say 3.
I was definitely intrigued, like what's gonna happen next, kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I, in a weird way, being the movie that it is, I feel like I never questioned what was going to happen. I knew there was going to be some form of third act breakup. I expected her to get with Atlas sooner, I'll say that. But other than that, I knew there was going to be a third act breakup. I wasn't expecting the kid. Other than that, like I kind of felt like where this movie was going. I was thinking of 4. I was leaning 4 because it does deal with a lot of really deep, dark things. I've got to take a point off somewhere for some of the terrible dialogue choices. And I'm going to put that in plot. I'd say that's writing. That's since we don't have dialogue as its own category.
Yeah.
I also didn't love. While I do like the not trustworthy narrator aspect of it now, I still don't like the couple times before we know that Ryle's a bad dude, where Lily did kind of emotionally cheat, even if it was just a little bit with Atlas. So that mixed with the cringy dialogue choices that they made, I'm going to say plot is a 3 for me. But I'll give that point back in characters. So,
Okay.
All right. Jonah, why don't you start us off for characters? Thank you.
You're welcome. I had to clarify. I'm gonna give characters a 3.
Okay.
I don't really feel super strongly about any of the characters, but I feel like they were written somewhat well. Like, like I said, the friend, like being like, oh, as your friend, but as your brother. That scene I thought was good, well written. Like the part with the mom, even Ryle, even though he was like what he did was terrible, they still did a good job. I feel like of making him seem
written
human.
well, yeah.
Yeah, he still seemed like a person. I thought characters were written fairly well, even though they're not exactly the most charismatic.
This
I
movie
give it a 3.
like kind of tiptoed up to the line on a couple different things. It tiptoed up on the lines like I was talking about as far as like dubious consent goes, as far as like, no, I don't want you, but I'm also going to flirt with you.
Yeah.
It really towed the line there. It also towed the line in a good way as far as like making both of the domestic abusers, the dad and Ryle, not evil.
yeah.
Yes.
Which is a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I got to applaud that. I almost want to give a point to
it's
plot
a
back
lot
on
of
that.
people, that are abusers, like, yes, what they do is terrible. But initially, before, you know what truly is, on the outside, you don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they talk about how Ryle is he sometimes lashes out in anger and he's broken on the inside due to something that happened with his brother.
Yeah.
And then once he realizes it, he steps away. He definitely had a dark moment in his life where he made mistakes, and that act was evil, but they make sure to point out, I feel like, that he was not evil. And then they kind of go back and do it with the dad a little bit too. Like they say, like, what the dad did was awful, but as a human being, like, was he an evil person? Like the mom didn't think so. And
One of
she
those
was
things where, the person is not evil. Or the person may not necessarily be bad. They just make bad choices.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think
that kind of thing.
the movie handled that well.
Yeah. I thought
It's not like stereotypical, he's an abuser, he's an evil human being. Like, he does evil things, but it doesn't mean him as a person is evil.
is evil. Yeah.
I'm gonna give plot a 4.
There
I'm
you
gonna give plot a 4.
I thought we were in characters.
We are, but I'm changing.
I just,
Oh, you're changing. Okay.
I'm giving him a point. I still like the dialogue so cringy from time to time. I don't know, like that. I feel like, but I think the more that I talk about the plot, even though I have problems with it, I think it handled a lot of tough situations really well. So okay, so Jonah, you're giving characters a 3.
Yeah.
I guess I have to do characters now. I was gonna give characters a 3 at the start of this podcast, but once again, I think the more we've talked about it, I'm going to give characters a 4. I think that they were pretty well rounded, very well written, not perfect, but good. Cool.
I'm going to go 3. I thought the characters, were well written, but I think most of them are mid, though, as far as like what I personally liked. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of characters in this movie.
Well, there was no WWE wrestlers, like no like LeBron James cameos.
I mean,
like I get it.
that's
Bugs
what I was-
Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Iron Giant wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I know what you need in a movie. So
Yeah.
all right, so 3.
Um.
Was that 3 is your score?
Yeah.
Dude, okay, all right.
I've been told. I'll tell you after the podcast.
You're good. All right. I guess I'm visuals. I'm gonna give visuals a 4 for a rom-com. It's not even a rom-com. It had comedic moments for a romantic. I always want to follow that word
drama?
with comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
romantic drama.
It's like
Drama.
but
most of them are.
generational trauma. The
Rom-dram.
drama.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Drama,
Okay,
Rama
that's-
Mama.
Yeah.
Romantic drama. It had shockingly good shots in it. And I think that what is his name? Ryle. Justin Baldoni has done a good job with the cinematography and just overall look and vibe of the movie. I'm gonna give him a 4.
We're on visuals, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. Yeah, it's shot really well, looked good. The sets, not a whole lot of them, but looked really good. Yeah, I mean, not really a whole lot to say on that. Just it was solid, very solid shot. Obviously, not gonna give it a 5.
If it hadn't been for the shaky cam, I might. I just and once again, maybe I'm being overly harsh, but yeah.
I'm also going to go 4. So there's nothing amazing here. Cinematography wise, it's pretty simple. There's nothing, I feel like there's nothing super crazy going on here. But again, there's nothing bad about it. It's pretty well lit. The
Yeah.
shots are well lit. There's no shot. They all, I said, looks fine. Looks good. 4.
Yeah. Okay. I started us off on that one, right? All right, Cole, why don't you start us off on audio?
3.
3. Oh. Are you doing dialogue here?
No,
Just 3. Okay.
I didn't really care. I'm going like mainly the soundtrack.
That's valid.
I
yeah.
personally didn't care for the soundtrack. I get it; it fits the vibe, but it wasn't like abysmal. So I'm just gonna go middle of the road on it.
It's valid.
Yeah.
Jonah?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for 3.
Okay.
Because like I said, I didn't care for the music choices.
You
They
get-
kind
hold
of
on. I put it in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. You give visuals a 4, right?
yes.
Okay. Audio gets a 3. I clicked the wrong button. Sorry. Continue.
I'm gonna say 3. Like I said, I didn't care for the music, but then again, it kind of fit the vibe of the movie a little bit. Sometimes I like some of the piano soundtrack they had playing. Sometimes this is a weird thing to comment on. I feel like some of the like sound like effects, like the Foley sounds. Okay, this sounds weird. There's a scene. It's a scene where he talks about Creed. It's a scene where he his jacket's on the back of the couch and he hits the couch and then he sets like a bowl down or something. I'm like, yo, that sounded pretty crisp. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird
They're
thing
good,
to point out.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say 3. I said I also didn't care for the music. I thought it was
I
kind
mean,
of
if it would have actually played Creed, I probably would have got a 4 for me.
yeah, or 5 even.
Yeah, I mean that's that's automatic 5.
I was going to go 2 for the soundtrack. And then after we got to talking, I was like, okay, well, since I get plot of 4, I'll put my bad dialogue choices under audio because audio is like direction. And so I think that kind of could include dialogue. I'm going to go 3, though. There was some ADR that I didn't love. Like you could just very clearly tell it was ADR'd. But I have to say, there was a lot of scenes where people are whisper talking or like presenting these very emotional but quiet scenes. And a lot of times in movies like this, I can't understand a word they say.
Yeah.
Like they just don't mic up well enough, or whoever is mixing it does not mix it properly, and things just get lost. And I feel like in a movie like this, I always understood what they were saying. And that's worth something. So I think the audio, they did a good job on that. So, all right, Cole, you're kicking off our final category this time. Cole, what would you give enjoyment?
Ooh, I'm gonna go 3. I enjoyed more of this movie than I thought I was going to. Like going in, just kind of like what my preconceptions would be of this. Like,
Did it suck a full pack of butt?
It didn't. It didn't suck any packs of butt. It was
wow.
it was just mid.
0
Okay.
butts.
It was like
No butts were sucked today.
I mean maybe I don't know what Lily and Ryle do, but
yeah, I mean, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, the first part of it very mid, but when modern day Atlas comes in, starts getting really good. So I'm like, I'll just meet you in the middle on that one.
Yeah, valid. Jonah.
I'm gonna give enjoyment a 2.
Ooh.
Oh,
I don't know why we're oohing.
I respect the movie. I think it's a fine movie. Like I said, I really was just disinterested with the first half. I think it tackles like the issues well later, but doesn't necessarily mean I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'll probably never watch it. I have no intentions of watching this again.
I'm with Cole. It was serviceable. If like 1 is abysmal, 0 is unacceptable, and 5 is like a great, fantastic. I mean, this movie's middle of the road. It was okay. I'm going to give it a 3. For all the same reasons Cole basically said my thoughts. That brings me to a 72, Cole to a 68, Jonah to a very harsh. He's usually, I feel like, the nice one, 60.
Dang.
Putting this movie at a total of a 66.6. We'll round that up to...
Oh, 66.6.
Uh-oh. Devil.
Why, Jonah?
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. So, 67%
Almost a C.
ends with...
It's serviceable.
It's
I
done
feel
better
like I
than some of
feel-
the other movies we've seen.
Yeah.
You know what? Looking at that number...
Did it do better than Suzume?
Probably. Yes, Susan got us 57.
Oh, good.
Dang.
You know what? Looking at that number feels low to me, but like that's why we do the rubric.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
I was thinking that too. Like when you said 60, I feel a little better than a 60, but it's like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, they already did it great once before.
your 2 on enjoyment is really what dragged it down. If I give it, let me bump that up to a 3 real quick. That gives us a 68. It didn't make that big of a difference.
Okay.
Oh, we need one more.
I was gonna say I don't know. I gave it a 4.4433.
Jonah.
Cole gave it a
dying this time.
4.3343, and then you gave it a 3.3432. So I mean, it's just lots of 3s all around. So, all right. Well, that was it. Ends with us. We talked about at the end. I thought it would have been funny if she like drops her kid off to like play at the school or something, and she's talking with Atlas. If it just like while she's flirting with Atlas, it zooms out. And then they get blurry, and it just focuses in on Ryle's fist just clenching. Like,
It'll end with me.
it'll end with me. Thought that would have been funny. But here's my actual question for you guys. They will probably make a sequel because, as far as I understand, actually, while you guys answer, I'm gonna look that up. How much money has this movie made? I feel like it's doing well.
Yeah, I would
from what I
assume.
can tell. They'll probably adapt the second book. Would you guys be interested in going to see the second movie? Is that something you would enjoy watching? Do you want to know how the story ends?
No.
No.
I would, if we're going to do a podcast episode about it, I'm down.
Here's the thing. Like, I don't know what other conflict there could be. If it's going to be, it starts with us. Like, if it's just going to be, like, and it sounds horrible.
I know what you're going to say.
If there's no
And I agree.
conflict like what we had in this movie, is it going to be as good of a film?
Yeah. Is it going to be her and Atlas with a healthy relationship raising a kid? Like, I mean,
Like, with
that's
no
great.
conflict at all? Like, yeah, good for them. Like, that's
Yeah,
a great
great.
thing, but...
I feel like they will. Obviously, Coleen Hoover wrote a whole nother book.
Yeah,
and
they're
I
gonna
doubt
make
she
the
wrote a
movie.
whole book. Yeah, I doubt she wrote a whole book that's conflict free.
Can you look up like the plot? Like a plot synopsis?
You want me to?
I mean, I'm down.
I'll do that at the very end. That way, if someone's planning on watching the sequel or if someone is going to read the book, we don't ruin it for them.
Yeah.
Just Googled it while you were talking, though. It made $100 million in 11 days. It's one of 13 films to achieve the benchmark. Globally, it's made 187 billion. $187 million.
Billion.
No,
dollars.
187
Watch out,
million.
James Cameron.
Here's where I started to say, "Oh my!" It apparently, according to this is Variety.com, only cost 25 million to make.
I mean,
I can see that. There's no effects.
no effects. It's all just
That's still though
simplistic,
shocking.
simplistic sets.
Still feels shockingly low for a
Not
modern
really like
movie.
massive named actors like Blake Lively. Obviously, we know who that is.
Yeah, but everybody else, I didn't recognize. I recognize the friend, but I don't know what her name is.
The actors.
I know her from
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. I've seen her in something.
Jenny
else
Slate.
before. Might have been that. Might have been Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So yeah, pretty good. It's doing really well. It'll probably definitely get a sequel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here in a second, I'm gonna look it up. We kind of have a dry spell coming up, right? Like, is there any movies coming out? We've got
Nothing.
AI Alive or Afraid. Afraid is what it
Afraid.
was.
We got Beetlejuice coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, there it is.
Transformers. I feel like it's close, but I don't know the name.
Oh yeah, they're making another one.
I actually am.
the animated one.
Can I be honest? I'm slightly excited for the animated one.
Really? So we got Beetlejuice.
I'm
Speak No Evil's
interested.
coming out.
I
Speak
like.
No Evil's coming out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I like well animated things. I don't know if this is going to be well animated, but like live action Transformers has been done. Let's let's put it to bed.
They
Yeah.
have ran that through the dirt.
To base something on the original cartoons and or the comics and set it on Cybertron or wherever the original world is animated is a really cool, fresh spin on the franchise that I grew up. The Transformers cartoon grew up watching that. That was awesome. So like I'm actually kind of excited for it. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
We need to have the as long as they have the touch playing.
You've got the touch.
Yeah, they need that.
You've got the power.
Sorry, all right. Get that in stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a couple. We might be gone for a few weeks depending on our schedules.
Yeah, we
and
came
if there's
back.
anything
We've
good.
just been on nonstop since we returned.
Really
Yeah.
have. We've popped out one a week for 5 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Since
pretty good run.
Twisters.
Look at us. So, alrighty. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please share this with your friends. I feel like I have to look way over to look into that camera. I hope it can catch me in frame here. I am gonna look up this plot synopsis for It Starts With Us.
Yeah.
I think it's what's
So
called. Yeah.
if you are a fan of the series and would not like to be spoiled,
Click off
please
now.
tune out now. Guys, chitter chatter while I Google this.
Jonah, what song do you want played at your funeral?
Ooh, My Heart Would Go On would be pretty funny.
Oh, Cole, yeah, you should have brought that up sooner.
Yeah.
A little too late. We're in now.
I don't know.
Hey, don't click off just yet if you haven't clicked
Come
off
back,
yet.
come back,
Yeah,
come back.
What would you say, Cole? I'm curious what yours is.
So I think similar in a vein here. I think we should go your typical slow, song that you played if you're I Can Only Imagine, Go Over Silent Mountain. But at some point in it, during an instrumental break, I'm fidgeting with the clip over here.
What was that?
At some point during an instrumental break, it modulates up right into the do 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 do, and then you get Weezer.
Ooh, okay. I wouldn't mind getting Weezer at a funeral. That'd be good.
Yeah, I gave mine in the car. If I have a graveside funeral, I get annoyed. This is going to make me sound like an awful person. I shared this in the car with him. I'm going to share it with you guys.
This whole episode's made us sound like kind of awful people.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Where's the domestic violence?
I get annoyed when I'm stopped by a funeral procession. And when I'm dead, you could drive past me. That's okay. It's not going to bother me.
What are you going to do?
So and here's the thing. I've not met a person who thinks it's disrespectful to drive past, going opposite funeral procession. It's just kind of, it's what we do.
Yeah,
we pull over.
society.
We just accept
I
it.
don't want to inconvenience people when I die. So if I have I plan on being cremated, but if for some reason, if there's a graveside service back in the day, back in high school, what I wanted to do is I wanted a local radio station to play Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart. I wanted the police escort to take my procession as fast as we could through Main Street so that we don't inconvenience people. And I wanted everyone to roll down their windows and blast that radio station. So that way, as we drive by, everyone stopping for my procession, it's just like a continuous stream of cars and the music would always be playing in sync, which I thought would be a pretty cool idea. And then my other thing was I plan on being cremated. I want my ashes turned into a record. Probably shouldn't say this because my grandkids could find this.
That's true.
These
Spoil it.
Apple will be dead by then. Maybe this podcast probably won't be around. But I kind of want.
It'll stand the test of time.
I kind of want to put in my will, hey, a year after my death, I'm gonna have my ashes pressed into a record. A year after my death, get all the family together, put my record on, remember me, celebrate my life, right? And I think it'd be really funny to have a record that was just 10 different versions of Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up," so I could Rickroll them from the grave.
Classic. I think that'd be classic.
I would think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Oh, that grandpa.
It's almost as good as that guy. I don't know if you've seen that Irish guy who recorded himself before he died.
Knocking on the top of the
He had,
casket.
I think he had cancer or something, and he knew he was going to die. So while he was healthy, he recorded himself being like, "Let me out, let me out." I'm just kidding. And then he basically told his family he loved him and made a couple jokes from the casket
beyond the grave,
which is crazy. But yeah, so I kind of want to do something like that. So, Jonah, did you say yours and I missed it?
He was
say
basic.
Yeah. My Heart Will Be Gone, I feel like would be funny because ironic. Maybe Jump.
Jump.
Yeah.
Van Halen.
Explain.
I don't know. Wouldn't fit, so it'd be funny. I'm not really sure.
If they ask me to pick the song for Cole's funeral, I don't know why, but for some reason, if they ask me, I'm going to play Photograph.
Look at this girl.
Oh yes, me, the avid Nickelback fan.
But you love that. You just meme that song so much.
That song is a funny meme. That and Lips of an Angel, two meme-worthy butt rock
What
songs.
I'd probably do is I'd probably try to learn it on guitar and then sing it myself.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
do that,
don't
yeah.
lie, Cole. You'd love that.
I won't be there, but I'll be looking down
But you would love that,
I would
though,
love
right?
that. That'd be awesome.
You could
You got
you
permission.
could have the worship team do a fun meaningful Christian song, or
No,
you could have your friend from pre-K poorly strum the chords to Nickelback's Photograph.
Listen, you probably got.
And I promise I will point at the picture of you on the mantle when I sing it.
Good. Can you please get Raymond Noodle hair like Chad Kroger though?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be good.
That would be good. So did you explain Jump? Did you explain why?
No. And I probably won't.
Would you like to?
I don't really have a reason. I just thought it sounded I pictured me dead, everyone's grieving, and that song playing. And
I
I just
think-
thought that'd be funny.
No, I think Gary come home, but it could be Jonah come
Oh
home.
yeah, don't come home. Yeah, that'd be
that
good.
would be good. Okay. Well, now that we've got that out of the way, update your wills, people.
Yep.
This is, I Googled plot synopsis of It Starts With Us. This is Google's AI overview. I haven't clicked on any of the specific links because they might spoil more than we want.
Yeah, that's true.
I also don't want to read an article because all of them, like I clicked on one and it was like the famous book, and I just don't want to skim past
Yeah,
all that.
don't
I
a
just
history
wanna,
lesson. Yeah.
So this is AI overview. It Starts With Us by Coleen Hoover is a 2022 romance novel that continues the story of Lily Bloom and Atlas Corrigan, high school sweethearts who reunite as adults after being separated by abuse and homelessness as teenagers. She was not homeless.
Yeah, she wasn't. They
The
don't-
novel
didn't
picks
see
up
this.
where it ends with Us, the first book of the duology, so I guess there's only two left off, with Lily unexpectedly running into Atlas on the streets of Boston. Lily is a single mother to her daughter, Emerson, who is still dealing with the fallout from her abusive ex-husband, Ryle. Atlas is a chef who escaped his violent family as a teenager. The novel explores the challenges of rekindling their romance as adults while also considering how their pasts have shaped them and the power of love and community in healing trauma.
Oh, ain't that sweet.
So
Sounds like a nice time.
maybe there won't be any drama.
I'm okay.
Maybe not.
Listen, hear me out though. I think they need to have two kids. Atlas and they need to have Lake and Palmer. So they're gonna have Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Oh.
Should I get that joke? I don't get that.
It's an art musical. It's a band,
Should I know a song that they sing?
and they're from like the 70s.
I've heard the name.
What do they sing?
I mean, we're all off the top of my head. I'm not even sure.
You can't even name a song by them. Okay,
I've
I
heard
feel
the
less,
name before, though.
I feel less bad.
That'd be good, yeah.
It's a band. I know.
I feel
Yeah.
less bad as a music teacher not knowing that. Okay,
They're,
well,
they're not as
fraud.
like It's not like frowned upon if you don't know Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll look them up later.
The Emerson, Lake, and Palmer fan that's listening to this is freaking
They're
out right now, though.
ticked. Yeah, they're mad.
I don't care.
They're like,
Come fight me.
they said she was asking for it. They said like they said she was
Photograph.
Yeah,
They said they liked the movie more when they started beating each other.
I mean, I'm not saying that. but-
we did kind of say
said
that
a little
We
bit,
said that a
but,
little
you
bit.
know.
So.
I mean, here's the
Alrighty.
thing. This could be the last episode. What a way to go out.
Please
Yeah,
don't
for real.
cancel us. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you when we see you. Have a good night.